showing them that we can provision an environment, 0 to everything in 15 minutes.
So today we're going to talk about Toast Ale. Toast Ale launched last week. It's a really new beer. It's the first of its kind in the UK. It's a beer made from fresh, delicious bread that otherwise would have gone to waste. So as James spoke to me and Katrin earlier, there's a lot of links between what we're doing with Toast and what Katrin's doing. It's taking something that is seen by some as a surplus product and then reinventing it and repurposing it into a totally new product. Another thing that's special about Toast is that 100% of the profits go to supporting the fight against food waste by being donated to Feedback, a charity that fights food waste. And so we think those two things make Toast the best thing since sliced bread. A talk at Monkey Graw would not be complete if I didn't tell you to please tweet at us. We are at Toast Ale. Everything's Toast Ale, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, and you can also hashtag Monkey Graw and Toast Ale. So before I talk about Toast Ale, I just want to talk a little bit about Feedback, which is the charity that I'm from and whose profits Toast Ale supports. So Feedback is an environmental campaigning organization fighting to end food waste at all levels of the food supply chain. And so in that vein, it does a few things. It does awareness-raising events such as Feeding the 5,000, where we feed over 5,000 people with food that would have otherwise gone to waste, and spark coalitions across cities in the UK, Europe, and now across Australia and Asia and North America and even Africa. And we also do campaigns against food waste based on different issues. And Feedback also runs the Food Surplus Entrepreneurs Network. And I want to talk a little bit about the Food Surplus Entrepreneurs Network. I think my HDMI cable is... Can I get some tech help? So cool. Food Surplus Entrepreneurs is all about taking food surplus and making it into a new product. And there's, as this slide shows, there's kind of different categories in our minds of food surplus entrepreneurs. The categories overlap. So there are food surplus entrepreneurs that are preventing food waste and making that prevention into a business or some sort of service. There are food surplus entrepreneurs who are raising awareness. And then there's a whole host of food surplus entrepreneurs that are taking the surplus and doing stuff with it. So in that first sort of broad category is the preventers and the awareness raisers, really cool groups. There are preventers that are kind of associated with lean management consultancy, but for food businesses, making sure that the food businesses understand and measure and then can act on the food waste. There's a really cool UK company called Winnow Solutions that just helped restaurants save their 2 millionth pound worth of food. And then there's a whole nother set of food surplus entrepreneurs that do stuff with what other people think of as just surplus. So there's really great, too many sort of amazing food surplus entrepreneurial organizations to mention. Some are for-profit, some are non-profit. One that's for-profit that really inspired us is called Rubies in the Rubble. They take surplus fruit and veg and turn it into really delicious high-end chutneys. And so Toast Ale, which, as James said, you're going to be able to try after the break, is sort of in that vein as a processor. It's taking bread that would have otherwise gone to waste and turning it into a new product. We were inspired by a Belgian company called the Brussels Beer Project. And they're a brewery that makes a few different amazing tasting beers. One of the beers they make is called Babylon. And to make Babylon, they use bread that would have otherwise gone to waste. The reason they call it Babylon is because they got the recipe from an ancient Babylonian recipe to make beer. It's possible that beer is basically as old as bread itself. So when ancient civilizations were making bread, it was really important not to lose the calories from that bread, and beer is a great way to store calories because its shelf life is a lot longer than bread. We think it's really important to come back to those ancient innovations because food waste is such a critical issue, social issue, and it's an environmental issue. 15 million tons of food waste in the UK wasted every year. Bread is the worst offender. The bread that is thrown away just by consumers would be enough to lift 26 million people out of malnutrition. That's 24 million slices of bread being thrown away every day. And that's just the consumption angle. Bread is also being thrown away by bakeries who can't use it at the end of the day, sandwich makers who don't use the crusts, supermarkets who don't sell the bread. And if you add all that up, we're throwing away basically nearly half of all the bread we produce. And so all of the environmental impacts, the energy impacts, the fertilizer, the chemicals, and just the labor and hard work that goes into bread, half of it is just chucked away. So we want to do something about that. And so what we do, we're sourcing bread, beautiful, fresh, surplus bread that would have otherwise been wasted. We're giving a new home to artisan breads that aren't sold at the end of bakeries at the end of the day. And also the bread from sandwich makers who automatically throw away the crusts. And we slice it, and we toast it, we make it into breadcrumbs, and we add it to the beer. So instead of being 100% malted barley, it's 40% bread and 60% malted barley. And it's really cool because not only are we doing environmental good, but it alters the taste of the beer in a good way. As you'll be able to taste, the bitter hops are really balanced nicely by some caramel tasting notes that you get from the bread. So it's a little bit of a different taste. The brewer that we worked with, who I'll talk about on the next slide, we asked him to kind of describe what the beer tasted like, and it was really exciting to us because he couldn't really answer. It was like, it's like a pale ale, a little bit like the hoppiness of an American pale ale, but it's more of an amber color and caramel taste. It's something new. It's toast. And just in terms of how we make the beer, we've worked with the Hackney Brewery, which is a brewery less than a mile away from Monkey Graw. They're really, really good brewers. And they throw the bread in with the barley into the mash tun and then add hops. They use some really nice hops. Beer geeks out there, come talk to me afterward if you want to talk about which hops are being used. And then, ferment it for about a week and bottle it up, and it's basically ready to go. We've had a really exciting launch, including a nationwide primetime TV launch on Jamie Oliver, his Jamie and Jimmy's Friday Night Feast, where it was pretty scary during the filming because they were genuinely tasting it for the first time, but the beer really tastes great. So it's sort of the beta of toast, but the beta tastes really good. And we've also gotten some really great press coverage too. Telegraph, The Guardian, Vice Munchies. People are really interested in the beer and also liking the way it tastes. So that's toast. The other thing that we're doing that's links to Monkey Graw in a nice way is we're trying to also inspire a homebrewing revolution where homebrewers could make their own batches of bread-based beer, their own batches of toast. And so I've got a picture of me. I'm part of a homebrewing cooperative, and inspired by toast, we made our own homebrewed beer with fresh surplus bread. And so we're going to release the recipe that we use and that we recommend open source for anyone to try. And so we're really excited about not only impacting craft beer, but also impacting home brewing and getting everyone involved in fighting food waste. And it's now available online on our website, toastale.com, and in a scattering of really cool London bottle shops and bars. The question that I'd be interested to leave for everyone else is what's the next big idea in food surplus entrepreneurship drinks? Because beer is only one of many really cool drinks that are possible to make out of food surplus. We could make cider out of surplus apples. Katrin's doing really cool food surplus entrepreneurship with hops and black currants left by Ribena, surplus lemons into limoncello, surplus potatoes into vodka. The sky's the limit. Beer's only one of many things that we could be making. But we're really excited about that idea for right now. As we say, it's toast ale. It's something that's pretty unique. It's definitely the first of its kind in the UK. So please shout and spread the word, especially if you like what you taste during the lunch break. Thank you.
Well, that was fantastic. Andrew's going to be around for a while, so if you've got any questions for him, we're going to have some amazing food and more drinks and stuff, so you should, meet him. And what a pleasure and a privilege. Thank you very much.